जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरव जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरव ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतं स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण प्रदान सहगणललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे गिरिधारीश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिः वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपदाय पादजितये श्री गिरिराजाय स्वामिने सुरक्षाय विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपदाय श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी श्री गुरुदेव। So we are reading from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 16. So this is the story of Nimai, little boy Nimai Pandit, meeting with the Digvijay, the champion, Keshav Kashmiri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he memorized all the shlokas that the Pandit composed on the spot. 100 shlokas he composed. And Mahaprabhu captured, it's like a tape recorder, and he captured it immediately. And he repeated back one shloka, all the shlokas. And the Keshav Kashmir was flabbergasted. How? I spoke like the wind. How do you capture one? Right? So he said that, okay, now, because it's a contest, right? It's a contest. So Nimai said, explain this. So the Pandit said this. And then Nimai said, okay, now let me hear what you have found. So that was text 54. So he said so many things. So my dear sir, text 54. My dear sir, in this verse, there are 5 false and 5 literary ornaments. I shall state them one after another. Kindly hear me and then give your judgment. So in the purpose Prabhupada gave is 5. The text 55. Avim Shrita Vidheyam Shaduni Khani Chihna Virudhamati Bhavana Krama Punarata Dushatin. There are 3 dush. In this verse, the fourth of Avim Rishita Vidheyamsha occurs twice. And the false of Virudhamati, Bhagana, Krama, and Punar Ata occur once each. Idam Shabde Anuvad Pache Avedheya. Gangara Mahatma, glorification of Mother Ganga. Shloke in the verse, Mula chief, Videya, unknown, Idam Shabde, by the word Idam this. Anuvad, the known, Pache at the end, Avidheya important. The glorification of the Ganges, Mahatvam Gangaya, is the principal unknown subject matter in this verse. And the known subject matter is indicated by the word idam, which has been placed after the unknown. Text 57. Vidheya age kahi pache kahile anubhag. Lelagi shlokera artha kariyache. Because you have placed the known subject at the end and that which is unknown in the beginning, the composition is faulty and the meaning of the words has become doubtful. Like we were having this dance drama, Nitya Natika. So we took the Gopi Geet. So we took Gopi Geet. So I asked a couple of devotees, please, you recite. So they were beautiful singers. So they have put the music, this Gopi Geet. And then I had a few groups, they were performing the drama of Gopi Geet. So maybe there were 4 or 5 groups. It was an entire ballet, So when it was over, it was so beautiful, so beautiful. But then what happened was, then came the like the fault finding. What was the fault finding? The reciters didn't recite the shlokas properly. They didn't pronounce the words properly. Right? And sometimes they made up words also. So what has happened? The tune, the melody was very beautiful, but the shlokas were not recited properly. So, I spoke about it. So then this one devotee, very nice lady, she's a dubbing artist. So yeah, she's an actually beautiful, her voice is very beautiful. She's a dubbing artist and she has given the translation to this Gopi Geet in her voice. So then she told me that so many of these singers, right? They will take the beautiful song like Jayadev Goswami's song of Bhagavatam, even Shikshastakam, etc., etc. They'll make so many mistakes in the pronunciation that nobody notice it. Why? Because they focus on what? On the sur. Right? So this is what has happening here. So this Dick Vijay, he thought that, oh, it sounds so beautiful, so poetic. So he was just going on and on. But he didn't realize he had met with one little boy, Nimai Pandit, who's saying, age piche, you have put this word, that word, and therefore it doesn't come proper. Right? Instead of putting, before you put, after, instead of putting after, you put in front. So therefore, the meaning of the words has become doubtful. So this is very common. What I'm saying, this is very common. We are so focused on, on the poetry should rhyme, or I don't know, like the alankar should sound very nice to the ears. But philosophically, it is wrong. So that's why whenever somebody will approach me and ask me that they want to perform in our programs, and they will tell me that I have the music, Then I'll say, you give me the meaning of what you're going to perform. Just like here, it is Ganga Devi. And I don't know whether I don't know how many shloka. Only Mahaprabhu took only one, but I don't know whether the whole shloka exists somewhere. So now somebody may pick up this poetry and put some music in it. And then they say, I'm going to perform on it. So what I will do, I say, please give me your music, give me the translation of what you are speaking, and show me the depiction. Right? Show me the depiction also. So again, it is so tricky because this is all arts. This is a 64 color. Poetry, this is among the 64 color. Similarly, Nitya Natika is also one of the 64 color. So now I'm completely ignorant. So I ask these girls, okay, show me this, perform this piece. And then one lady told me that this is not Krishna's mudra, this is Lord Shiva's mudra. And I won't know. All right? I won't know. And these girls will say they're coming from their schools, they have graduated, etc., etc. And I'm watching, I don't know. Right? So this is, I'm giving you examples of what is going on here. So text 57, 58. Anuvadam anupeva navidheyam udhirayat nahayala aspadam kinchit utrachit pratitishthati. Without first mentioning what is known, one should not introduce the unknown, for that which has no solid basis can never be established anywhere. So this is a verse from the Ekadashi Tattva, text 59. Dvitiya Shri Lakshmihan Dvitiyatva Videya Samase Gona Haina Shabdartha Gela Shaya. In the word Dvitiya Shri Lakshmi, a second all-opulent goddess of fortune, the quality of being a second Lakshmi is the unknown. In making this compound word, the meaning became secondary and the originally intended meaning was lost. It's amazing, See, like I used to do editing. So many devotees will write articles and I would do the editing and I publish. And I was really surprised sometimes when I would do the proofreading. It's amazing how people read newspaper or they read magazines and they don't find the faults. Sometimes something is written which doesn't make sense. Which actually doesn't make sense. Maybe there is a missing word or some word got jumbled up or some missing paragraph. But people read without actually reading. So here, Mahaprabhu is like an editor. He's editing the work, what's that, Raftar like, what do you call that? Like a storm like has happened, he's recited all the verses. And Mahaprabhu is doing the editing. He's saying, what is this? Dvitiya Shri Lakshmi. That's not all this, but I'm getting an idea. So text 60. Dvitiya Shabda Vidveya Taha Parila Samase Lakshmira Samatatha Parila Vinase. Because the word Dvitiya, second, is the unknown, in its combination in this compound word, the intended meaning of equality with Lakshmi is lost. Because the word Dvitiya, second, is the unknown. In its combination in this compound word, the intended meaning of equality with Lakshmi is lost. Text 61. Avim Shritaha Vidheyam Shahe Doshera Nama Araeka Dosha Cheshuna Savadhana. Not only is there the fault of Avim Shrita Vidheyam Shah, but there is also another fault, which I shall point out to you. Kindly hear me with great attention. Shabda idile paya shantosh virudhamati krit nama e mahadosh. Here is another great fault. You have arranged the word Bhavani Bhartri to your great satisfaction. That's exactly what I was saying. You know, you recite everything to your own great satisfaction, but this betrays the fault of contradiction. This is the problem with all of us. You know, like we have some type of kala with us. We just do it, exhibit it, right? And we're so satisfied, it's so good. And then here comes somebody is finding their fault. You don't like. शब्दे कहे महादेवेरा गृहिणी तन्रा भरता कहीने द्वितीया भरता जानी. The word Bhavani means the wife of Lord Shiva. That when we mention her husband, one might conclude that she has another husband. Text 64. Shiva patnira bhartaiha shunite virudha. Virudha mati krit shabda shasve nahe shud. It is contradictory to hear that Lord Shiva's wife has another husband. The use of such words in literature creates the fault called Virudha mati krit. Text 65. Brahmana patnira bhartara haste dehadam shabda sunite hai dvitiya bharta gyan. If someone says, place this charity in the hand of the husband of the wife of the Brahmana, when we hear these contradictory words, we immediately understand that the Brahmana's wife has another husband. All right. Vibhavati kriyaya vakya sangapuna visheshana adbhuta gunaye punarata dushana. The statement by the words Vibhavati flourishes is complete, qualifying with the adjective adbhuta guna, wonderful qualities, creates the fault of redundancy. So the word Vibhavati, meaning full of. Actually, even we know this, right? Vibhu means opulence, right? Vibhavati means full of opulence. So it's complete. Now, qualifying with the adjective, adbhut guna, wonderful qualities, means we're saying the same thing twice. But it's like so nice, so many beautiful words. देखी अनुपम एक करे नहीं दोषा भगना क्रम. There is extraordinary alliteration in 3 lines of the verse, but in 1 line there is no such alliteration. This is the fault of deviation. My God, this is too much, right?
It's like checkmate, Mataji. Complete dissection of this.
Yapi shloke ache pancha alankar E Panchadoshi Shloka Kaina Charakara. Although there are 5 literary ornaments decorating this verse, the entire verse has been spoiled by these 5 most faulty presentations. Dashalankare yadi eka shloka hai, ekadoshe sabalankara bhai kshaya. If there are 10 literary ornaments in a verse, but even one faulty expression, the entire verse is nullified. This is the judgment on Nimai Pandit. Sundara Sharira Yache Bhushana Bhushita Eka Sweta Pushte Yache Paraye Vigita. One's beautiful body may be decorated with jewels, but one spot of white leprosy makes the entire body abominable. Oh my God. The great sage Bharata Muni, an authority on poetic metaphor, has given his opinion in this connection as follows. So Bharat Muni, is it Bharat Muni who's this Gandharva Ved? Nityanatika, all this? It's Bharat Muni. That's him? Is that him?
The one who wrote Natya Shastra.
Oh, so this is Gandharva Ved, right? Comes from this Gandharva Ved. So text 71. Rasalam karavattavyam doshayukched vibhushitam syadvapuhu sundaram api sushmitrenaikena dirgham. As one's body, although well decorated with ornaments, is made unfortunate by even one spot on white leprosy. So an entire poem is made useless by a fault, despite alliteration, similes, and metaphors. Okay, this Vibhushita Bhaktu Alankar, ornaments, metaphors, similes. Panchalang alankarera ebes shunaha vichar dui shabda alankara tina artha alankar. Here's the description of the 5 literary embellishments. There are 2 ornaments of sound and 3 ornaments of meaning. Shabdalankara tina pare ache anukas. Shri Lakshmi Shabde Punar Uttavat Abhyas. There is a sound ornament of alliteration in 3 lines, and in the combination of the word Shri and Lakshmi, there is the ornament of a tinge of redundancy. Is it true? Is it true? Is it, Anupama? You are in poetry, right? How is it redundant here?
It's because Lakshmi itself is Shri.
Exactly. There is a French, I recall there's a term that's called that we
Shri
say
Sampradaya.
pleonasm.
Yeah, yes.
You know that pleonasm.
Pleonasm.
So like seeing with my own eyes, climbing up. But if you are climbing, it's up. Seeing it's my own eyes. So you're stating the same thing, like Shri is Bija Lakshmi. So why do you have to say Shri? This is what I understand.
Yeah, Shri Lakshmi. Prathamacharane panchata karera panti. Tritiyacharane hai pancha reha iti. In the arrangement of the first line, the letter ta occurs 5 times. And the arrangement of the third line repeats the letter ra 5 times. Chaturtha charane chariye bhatkara prakash atayeva shabda lankara anupras. In the fourth line, the letter bha occurs 4 times. This arrangement of alliteration is a pleasing ornamental use of sounds. Shri Shabde Lakshmi Shabde Eka Vastu Ukta Punarukta Pray Bhasen Nahe Punarukta. Although the words Shri and Lakshmi convey the same meaning and are therefore almost redundant, they are nevertheless not redundant. Shri Yukta Lakshmi Arte Arthera Vidheda Sa Shabda Lankara Bhed. Describing Lakshmi as process of Shri offers a difference in meaning with a tinge of repetition. This is the second ornamental use of words. 78. Lakshmi Riva Arthalankara Upama Prakash Nama Virodabhas. The use of the words Lakshmi Eva, like Lakshmi, manifests the ornament of meaning called Uppama. There is also the further ornament of meaning called Virodhabhas, or a contradictory indication. So, like Lakshmi, the use of the word Lakshmi Riva, like Lakshmi, manifests the ornament of meaning called Uppama, analogy. There is also the further ornament of meaning called Virodhabhas, or a contradictory indication. Gangate Kamala Janne Sagara Subodha Kamale Gangara Janma Atyanta Virodha. Everyone knows that lotus flowers grow in the waters of the Ganges. But to say that the Ganges takes birth from a lotus flower seems extremely contradictory. You're getting an idea, how in India, everywhere, everybody likes to write poets. Everybody is a poet. Everybody is a, cinema, script writer, right? You're in that film, Anupama Mishra. You're in that film, right? Writing scripts, writing this, that, all invention. You take the source from something authentic and then you manipulate it. And it sounds very nice, beautiful, right? And just see what mess up happening here. Becomes popular songs, somebody's writing a song like, even I heard they invented some Devi. Then this Devi became propagated everywhere. And people started opening temples in the name of that Devi who doesn't exist except in the cinema screen, right? The existence of Mother Ganges begins from the lotus feet of the Lord. Although the statement that water comes from a lotus flower is a contradiction, in connection with Lord Vishnu, it is a great wonder. Ishvara Achintya Shakti Gangara Prakash Ihate Virodha Nahi Virodha Abhas. In this birth of the Ganges by the inconceivable potency of the Lord, there is no contradiction, although it appears contradictory. Okay, Indira Radha, you'd like to read this purport?
Yes, please. Hare Krishna. The central point of all Vaishnava philosophy is to accept the inconceivable potency of Lord Vishnu. What sometimes appears contradictory from a material viewpoint is understandable in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he can perform contradictory activities by dint of his inconceivable potencies. Modern scientists are puzzled. They cannot even explain how such a large quantity of chemicals has formed the atmosphere. Scientists explain that water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. But when asked where such a large quantity of hydrogen and oxygen came from and how they combined to manufacture the great oceans and seas, they cannot answer because they are atheists who will not accept that everything comes from life. Their thesis is that life comes from matter. Where do all these chemicals come from? The answer is that they are produced by the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Living entities are part and part of the Supreme God, and from their bodies come many chemicals. For example, the lemon tree is a living entity that produces many lemons, and within each lemon is a great deal of citric acid. Therefore, if even an insignificant living entity who is but a part of the Supreme Lord can produce so much of a chemical, how much potency then there must be in the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Scientists cannot perfectly explain where the chemicals of the world are manufactured, but one can explain this perfectly by accepting the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Lord. There is no reason for denying this argument, since there are potencies in the living entities who are samples of the personality of Godhead. How much potency there must be in the Supreme Personality, Godhead Himself, as described in the Vedas, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam. He is the chief eternal of all eternals and the chief living entity among all living entities. Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Unfortunately, atheistic science will not accept that matter comes from life. Scientists insist upon their most illogical and foolish theory that life comes from matter. Although this is quite impossible, they cannot prove in their laboratories that matter can produce life. Yet there are thousands and thousands of examples illustrating that matter comes from life. Therefore, in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that as soon as one accepts the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no great philosopher or scientist can put forward anything to contradict the Lord's power. This is expressed in the following Sanskrit verse.
See, text 82.
Full of
Anupama Madhvi, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Text 82. Ambujam ambuni jatam kvachit apina jatam ambujadambu murabhidi tad viparitam padambhojan mahanadi jata. Everyone knows that lotus flowers grow in the water, but water never grows from a lotus. All such contradictions, however, are wonderfully possible in Krishna. The great river Ganges has grown from his lotus feet. Text 83. Gangara Mahatva Gandhara Mahatva Sadhya Sadhna Tahara Vishnu Padutpati Anumana Alankara. Translation: The real glory of Mother Ganges is that she has grown from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Such a hypothesis is another ornament called Anuman. Text 84. Stulai Panchadosha Panchalankara Sukshma Vicharye Yadi Achai Apara. I have simply discussed the 5 gross faults and 5 literary embellishments of this verse. But if we consider it in fine detail, we will find unlimited faults. प्रतिभा कवित्वा तोमार देवता प्रसादे अविचारा काव्ये अवश्य पड़े दोष बाधे. You have achieved poetic imagination and ingenuity by the grace of your worshipable demigod. But poetry not well reviewed is certainly subject to criticism.
Yes, so that's exactly what we're talking about, right? It's exactly what you're talking about. Yes, well, just see. Poetry not well reviewed is certainly subject to criticism. So we write and everybody believe, that they're perfect in whatever they have written. Believe me, when you write an article, because, I've been doing magazines and, articles, and then I have to take other devotees' paper, editing, it's such an agony when somebody take the red pen and, and edit your writing, okay? It's, my grandma, she was, doing all this. Actually, I read something and one devotee did, and my grandma, he's so gentle in his editing. So he said this red pen is like murder, murder with a red ink. What is getting murdered? It's you, your false ego, And publishing is such that, publishing is such that you publish your false ego actually. When so this is what is happening here. So this Pandit, so you have achieved poetic imagination and ingenuity by the grace of your worshipable demigod. Poetic imagination, beautiful verse. And ingenuity, what is it? What does it say? Kavitva, poetic imagination.
Pratibha is ingenuity. Pratibha.
Pratibha. What is the meaning of pratibha? Pratibha.
Like talent.
Talent.
Ingenuity, talent. Okay. So pratibha, kavitva, tumar devata prasad. Only your devata can make you have such type of poetic imagination and talent, right? But, oh my God, but if your work is not reviewed by somebody else, then it becomes subject to criticism. This is extremely instructive. To be allowed, see Chaitanya Charitamrita. I mean, I keep on saying that we were so lucky that we were a small group, we were in the temple, and I have my Guru Maharaj, who was like the editor of our life, literally. The editor of our life, telling us like what's happening here, and with the same style, like so expert with the same style. Meaning that they appreciate and they correct and they appreciate. Anyway, that really requires Krishna empowerment to do something like that. So therefore, in our movement now, we usually avoid criticizing our friends, our mentees, our counselees. We we don't correct them. It is our duty to tell, those who are dependent upon us about their fault, but we don't, because we are afraid. We really are afraid, and maybe we don't know how to do it also. And if you do it, and if the other person doesn't realize what you are doing, then what do? A personal experience. They gather forces, their family members, their friends, and they all attack you. This is what they do. Still what you are doing. And so all counselors, all mentors, everybody back out. Better just leave the person. So therefore, here Mahaprabhu is saying, you have achieved poetic imagination and ingenuity by the grace of your worshiping intellect. But poetry not well reviewed is certainly subject to criticism, meaning that you will be criticized at some point or the other. So similarly with a disciple or our mentees, our counselors, whatever you call them, if you don't correct them, their fault will gradually shine. You understand what I'm saying?
So, Mataji, so then,
One minute. Vicharik kavitva kaile bhaya sunirmala salankara hailartha kari jhalmala. Poetic skill used with due consideration is very pure, and with metaphors and analogies it is dazzling. Shuniya prabhura vyakya dikvijayas vismita mukhena nihi share vakya pratibha stambhita. After hearing the explanation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the champion poet was struck with wonder, his cleverness stunned. He could not say anything. Kahite chahaye kichu na aaye se uttar tabe vicharaya mane bhaiya fanfara. He wanted to say something, but no reply would come from his mouth. He then began to consider this puzzle within his mind. Kodviya balaka kaila mora buddhilo jani saraswati mora kariya chena ko. This mere boy has blocked my intelligence. I can therefore understand that Mother Saraswati has become angry with me. Yes.
so Mataji, as preachers, should we correct, not correct?
Of course, we must correct. If you don't correct, this is what's going to happen. Right? This is the example of what will happen. So what happened is that it's not necessarily that this Digvijay is so like Digvijay. It's either, those who he was meeting, either they were themselves not so experts and therefore they couldn't find the faults in his work, or they just didn't want to tussle with him. Right? They just didn't want to tussle with, so let him go anyway, until one day he meets his match. Right? This is how Ravan got conquered, isn't it? Ravan was so proud. So proud. He could do anything and everything to anybody. Right? The fall of Ravana is due to what? What caused his fall down, Ravan?
Ego, ahankar.
Therefore, what happened when he had so much ahankar? What happened? Nobody could match him, but something made him fall down. What is it? The curses. Yeah, Amrita.
No, Mataji, in regards to your question, I was just saying that he was not ready to hear the correction that Vibhishan was trying to offer him, that Sita Devi is somebody else's wife, you should not do it. He was not ready. He thought he knew everything.
Yeah, even Kumkaran said, let her go. Even Mandodari said, let her go, right? Everybody, even this marriage said, don't do this, right? Everybody said, right? But I'm saying, so that was due to his ahankar and his post lust. But what caused his fall down? What defeated him? Says, all right? Whoever he defeated cursed him, right? Each and every one who he defeated cursed him. So the accumulation of curses is what brought the fall down of Ravan. So if we don't correct, those who are dependent upon us, they'll get cursed, right? They will do such wrong things. They will walk around with so much pride.
Mataji, on this, I wanted to ask a question. So, if children do bad karma, then does it come to the parents?
Automatically, because you don't correct your child, right? So therefore, he brings you a bad name. And if your child don't listen to you, then when King Vena wasn't listening to his father left home. He's useless. Having a child who's useless. So the one is better than staying in the palace. This is better. I focus on the goal of life. So two things. Correcting our dependence is essential. The glory will come to you. The reward will come to you. Because the child will shine. Right? I remember I say that if your child is a bully, right? Your child is a bully and you don't correct your child, right? The outside world will bully him. That's for sure. Anyway, we are very dangerous. Now this Chaitanya Charitamrita is teaching so many things. But this question about correction is like, now we are so afraid of correcting, but this is it here. An example of how Mahaprabhu, out of mercy, he's correcting this. He's the editor of this, this poet, this Kavi. Let's continue reading just few minutes more. So this mere boy has blocked my intelligence. I can therefore understand that Mother Saraswati has become angry with me. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that all intelligence comes from a supreme person, Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, are the Paramatma. The Paramatma gave the Pandit the intelligence to understand that because he was proud of his learning and wanted to defeat even the Supreme Lord, by the will of the Lord and through the agency of Mother Saraswati, he had been defeated. One should not therefore be too proud of one's position. Even if one is a greatly learned scholar, if he commits an offense to the lotus feet of the Lord, he will not be able to speak properly in spite of his learning. In every respect, we are controlled. Our only duty, therefore, is to surrender always to the lotus feet of the Lord and not be falsely proud. Mother Saraswati created this situation to favor the champion Pandit so that he might surrender unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So anyway, this is an example of, how you're so perfect, actually you believe you're so perfect, this, and then you're getting smashed. No, I'll go, another extreme, you could say. Like we put up so many so kacha, unedited, this, kacha, this, and everything is presented, and then when we come out from it, all we are so happy. What I can say as an editor, you could say, I could hear the sound was not proper, the cuts were too abrupt, this, So I say, what a kacha program, we have presented. But we came out, the audience was so happy. They have learned something, right? And then I will say Rararas Bihari. So every time I have some program, I'll say Rararas Bihari, now you take care. We learn to do it this way because, we can't do it otherwise, right? We're not going to spend 2 crores on our one program, right? Proper costume, voice proper, music proper, sound proper, right? So when Krishna decides to manifest himself through, the small attempts of the performance, then everybody is satisfied. Then all those alankar, all this stuff, doesn't matter. But when I want to show off, then a critic will come and see, oh, why this? Oh, why that? This is very, very instructive. Very, very instructive. All right, so we'll see next what happens next week. That was nice, wasn't it? I mean, we've heard that story so many times. Read it maybe also.
Mataji, this pastime also taught me that when we check something, it should be thorough from our side also. If you're reviewing, then the review should be completely thorough, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He didn't leave any stone unturned in telling where things are wrong.
Yeah. Well, it's like here Mahaprabhu is very expert, right? Extremely expert. So usually that's what everybody says. You don't know how to correct. But then if you don't know how to correct, then better be imperfect in your correcting than not correcting at all. This is my opinion, unless you're a pure devotee, don't correct. I mean, you're a parent, you're a leader by default, isn't it? And these days, wives are supposed to be dependent on husbands, right? Husbands are supposed to be superior to wives. They're supposed to guide the wife, right? But now husband, I don't know how qualified they are. So how would they find fault with their wives and correct them and bring them up, right? So all this is upside down. And wife cannot tell the faults of the husband, right? Unless they're very close to each other, they're very good friends. So it's a huge mess. It's an absolute and huge mess. Actually, the way it works with the husband and wife is that whatever the husband says, the wife has to say yes, 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 yes. Right? They have to say yes, 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 until one day the husband will say, am I right or am I wrong? It's such a psychology, such a psychology in this relationship of living together, correcting one another, helping each other progress. Such an art, such a science, 100% of psychology. Everything is lost. So correcting in different ways. So here it's like one small boy correcting a Digvijay. This is very humiliating.
He's not just any small boy. He's God
Yep.
himself.
For him, for the Digvijay.
I think he was very merciful to Digvijay. He has
Hmm?
been, I think he was very merciful.
Yeah,
was
we'll read later. For, for now, we are the point of humiliation right now. We've stopped this way now. When he said he was Saraswati, must be angry with me, right? What happened? Right? My Devi must be angry with me. How come I lost? Right? See, everybody, they say Krishna is with me. Krishna authorized me, right? And then when we let out, oh, what happened? Right? Maybe, my Krishna's angry with me. I got defeated. Right? We're still bhakta. We're still bhakta. We don't give up our deva. Right? We're still bhakta. But we just say, he must be angry with me. That's why I got defeated. So demoniac.
okay.
Those who are demoniac, what do they do? Oh, this Deva let me down. Let me give him up. Let me approach somebody else, right? But here, this Digvijay is very pious. He only says, Mother Saraswati must be angry with me. No, so there are all types and grades of people. We learn by studying the Shastra. So this Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very, very important Shastra and very much relevant to us in this modern age. Right? In our modern ISKCON, if we don't learn, if you don't accept, then we're finished. Very much Hare Krishna.
Happy Balaram appearance day to. Do we have
Balaram
class
Jayant.
next week?
Yes,
There's
definitely.
Janmashtami on Saturday. Okay.
Is it Janmashtami?
No,
Saturday?
Janmashtami is on Saturday.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
somebody is very impatient at my door.